Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the presidential candidate of the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, is reportedly planning to include additional 2,000 members in his presidential campaign council. Tinubu had recently unveiled a 422-member campaign council. But according to reports, some governors and the national chairman of the APC, Adamu Abdullahi, were not satisfied with the list. The conflict over the list was confirmed by a letter purportedly written to Tinubu by Adamu yesterday, September 29, 2022. But this was publicly denied by the ruling party hours after the letter was leaked. APC spokesman Felix Moka issued a statement yesterday denying that Senator Adamu authored it. Meanwhile, members of the National Working Committee have also disowned the PCC list, saying Tinubu, who is currently out of the country, did not allow them to properly vet the names before he made the premature announcement. Joining us now from our Abuja studio is Yusuf Bala Ibrahim, Director of Publicity of the All Progressives Congress, APC. Good morning, Mr. Ibrahim. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning, Dr. Ruben. Thank you for having me here.
Okay, quickly. Your candidate, presidential candidate, was conspicuously absent yesterday at the National Peace Accord signing ceremony. But he was represented by Kashim Shettima, where some people say that was wrong, that he should have been there by all means. What do you say to that?
Well, I think we have to go to the legality of necessity. I don't know whether if one is invited to a function or an occasion, no matter how important that function is, if he sends a representation, that representation will not be recognized. It's one presidency. They are going on the same ticket. The president and his running mate are on the same ticket. If for any reason the presidential candidate is not there and his running mate is there, I don't know if that is not technically presence, but that is left to legal interpretation. As far as I'm concerned, Tinubu was properly represented, and for the purpose of what was done yesterday, Tinubu has signed the agreement for peace.
I'd like to ask you two questions. Where is your presidential candidate? Where is he? That's number one. Number two, if other presidential candidates send in their vice presidential candidates to the peace accord, do you think it will have been taken seriously?
Well, you are putting questions in the wrong direction. I am not the presidential candidate, nor am I the vice presidential candidate. The question of where the presidential candidate is at the moment is something that can best be answered by him. But the last time I checked, he's alive and he's on earth. Where he is may not necessarily be availed to me. But we have seen on social media yesterday and today, pictures of him in the company of other people were displayed, showing that he's hale and hearty. And according to the social media publication, he's said to be in London. But I am not giving you an authoritative answer. But I know, I have been told he's alive, and he will soon be back from wherever he is.
No, the second question I asked that, what if other presidential candidates too sent in their vice presidential candidates? Will he make the peace accord a serious thing? Because now you've set a precedent that people can send in their vice presidential candidates at the expense of Nigerians, isn't it? So why don't we just start?
The people who constructed the constitution of the country or the party, I'm sure they had in their wisdom the importance of a deputy or vice. That's why they inserted that in the arrangement. It's because they know as human beings, circumstances can compel things to happen such that the principal may not be around. But in his absence, someone can stand in for him. The validity of that arrangement is what you are questioning. Now, if everyone decides not to go himself and send his deputy or vice, I think he's respecting that provision. And I don't think there is anything legally wrong if a deputy or vice is there to represent his principal. And by sending a vice presidential candidate, you are not belittling the arrangement. You are not in any way disrespecting the invitation. I think people have to understand that a vice is as strong as the pillar or the principal. And in this case, the presence of the vice presidential candidate alongside the chairman of the party shows a lot of respect and commitment to the peace arrangement that is being engineered by the National Peace Commission.
Anyway, look, Mr. Ibrahim, don't let's waste time on the irrelevant. Okay? I get your point. I've made a similar point earlier on quoting the Constitution. But the optics, we can hold on to the optics. But look, it's just simple intelligence. But let me ask you, what is the story about somebody running a one-man show in your party with regard to the composition of the Presidential Campaign Council and the letter that was purportedly leaked? What is the truth about it? Everybody is denying that letter. They're saying, oh, it didn't come from us. The chairman of the party did not write it. Some people are saying, oh, the chairman, that's the way he thinks, and all of that. Is that really, a case of someone in your party running a one-man show and not carrying everyone along? What do you know about this story?
Thank you very much, Dr. Reuben, and I'm happy you used the word purportedly written. Purportedly. So whatever we're going to say is going to be on the realm of speculation. The party has specifically denied that letter. It has said in clear terms that that letter was not written by the party, is not something that is consequential. So whatever anybody is going to say with regard to the running of a party or one-man show is just the imagination of the concoctor of that letter. The party has denied it. It has not been written by the party. That discord or whatever rumor circulated surrounding the running of a party or an arrangement or the presidential council by one man is not coming from the mouth of the chairman of the All Progressive Congress or the National Working Committee.
I'd like to ask you again, what is more important that your presidential candidate was doing that it wasn't there at a peace accord signing where other presidential candidates were? Because you said, oh, if he's busy, he could send his vice. So what is more important at the expense of the Nigerian people during a campaign? What is more important that he was doing that he wasn't there?
Well, I don't know if I may ask. It's as if you are asking the wrong person questions that he is not supposed to answer. I am not the presidential candidate, nor am I the spokesperson of the presidential candidate. And when the presidential candidate was going to where he was going to, he didn't alert me, he didn't notify me, and he didn't ask me to come and speak for him. So I wouldn't know on the scale of importance what he's doing where he is and what he was supposed to do on the day he was invited to go to the Peace Accord meeting. As far as I'm concerned, the vice presidential candidate was there, and if there is anybody to answer why the presidential candidate is not there or was not there, I think if the vice presidential candidate is gotten, he will be the right person to answer that. But as far as I'm concerned, and from what I've seen, I was at the conference hall where the accord was signed. Everyone was happy that APC was properly represented, the presidential ticket was properly represented.
Again, I say this is a small issue, okay? The National Peace Committee is just a non-governmental organization trying to get a commitment and all that, and they have that ceremony at every event. What is important is for the party to commit to peace, tranquility, and go, into this game in a responsible manner. But the other substantive issue, the PDP has gone ahead to announce its own presidential campaign council. Your party says it has postponed its own formal inauguration of the campaign council. We have been told that there is controversy over the composition of that council. What is the nature of that controversy? Because we're told it's not inclusive enough, and then we're told, oh, October 8th, by the time your candidate will have returned from wherever he is, will not be feasible. It will be done at some point. Is the APC ready for this election? When is it going to start, the momentum?
Well, with regards to readiness, it is a fact that the APC is more than ready for the election. The APC is ready to hit the ground running, to go around and canvass for support and the votes of Nigerians so that it can continue with what it has been doing. And I'm sure when the APC Campaign Council is properly composed, released, people will see the reason behind the delay in the launching or the takeoff of the campaign. There is no compulsion in necessarily releasing the names of the campaign council or hitting the ground running with campaign on the very day the campaign restriction is lifted. No. Every party has its own plan, and it wants to do it in a way that will attract more attention than the rest. It wants to do it in a way that will be appreciated by the public. It wants to do it in a way that, yes, the electorate will know that, yes, this is a party that means business, and this is a party that is coming to rescue them from whatever problems they have been pushed into by the opposition party. Instead of asking why there is rancor or the speculation about misunderstanding between the party and the Presidential Campaign Council, why not look at why not juxtapose the situation between what is happening in the APC and what is happening in the PDP? Yes, because of commitment, because of eagerness to participate in the activities of the party, because of love for the party, members of the APC are saying they are not included. Everyone wants to be on board the Presidential Campaign Council, but of course not everyone can be there. So people in APC are saying we want to be there. We want to see our names. But look at what is happening in the PDP. Some people have been put on the list. They are saying, why did you put our name? We don't want to be there. We are not going to participate. So the reverse of what is happening in the APC is what is happening in the PDP. Which one has people that are more commitment? I think that is the question we should be asking.
What will you be campaigning on as the APC? What records would you be campaigning on?
Sorry?
What records will the APC be campaigning on after 8 years?
For a program like this of less than 1 hour, I don't think we can be able to spell out the achievements of the APC in this country. It's a fact. Everyone has seen. Just look at the record of the PDP and turn the page. You will see the answer. Everything the PDP had done to put the country in problem has been or is being undone to clear the mess. In the last 16 years, the PDP had been in power. It had disempowered Nigerians. It had put Nigerians in a lot of distress. And since APC came on board in 2015, the reverse is the case. People are seeing changes in agriculture, infrastructural development, security, anti-corruption, what have you. Now, if you are to take every item and itemize the achievements that have been recorded under that, you see that a program of this nature cannot be able to entertain it. Certainly, there are so many things to talk about, including, I repeat, the fight against corruption, including the fight against insecurity, including agricultural development, including infrastructural development, including power supply. I'm sure before the APC, this program would not have been done under PSCN power supply. Certainly the program will be under power generator. It is not the case now. There is tremendous improvement in power. So also there is tremendous improvement in security. And believe you me, like the president said, before the end of his tenure, insecurity will be in the books of history.
Okay, forget all this campaign talk about, this has improved, that has improved. Let the voters decide. But I asked you a question earlier, which you have not quite addressed. Who is trying to hijack the APC? Because the subtext of what we have seen in the media in the last 24 hours is that some people are trying to hijack the party. As a principal member of that party, who is trying to hijack the party?
From the innuendo, from your body language, Dr. Ruben, I want to suspect that you are among those who are trying to hijack the party. Well, if you are trying to do that, I will help you. I don't have any problem with that. You are welcome. You can come in, but you will not come with the powers to hijack. You will come in with the powers to participate like any other member. The APC is going to give you a level playing ground. It will allow you to participate and do whatever you will do within the confines of democratic provision.
No, you didn't get my point. My point about that draft letter is that, look, the letter, whoever is taking ownership of it or not, is saying that some people are running a one-man show, they are dictatorial, and that is a problem in the All Progressives Congress. And you are a member of the party. I just wanted you to address that issue. Do you feel, as a member of the party, that there are some gods who have seized the process and who just dictate to the rank and file?
You are trying to justify the existence of the non-existent. I tell you that letter is non-existent. That letter is only in the imagination of those who drafted it. There is no such letter. And the National Publicity Secretary, Barrister Felix Moka, has clearly, in unmistakable language, and he's a lawyer, he has answered that question, that letter does not exist. Whoever is insisting that there is such letter, he is only doing so in the imagination of his dream. So how can I answer something that is not existent? There is no such letter.
Okay, let's talk about issues. You said your party has done so much that a one-hour show will not be able to give you the chance to analyze what your party has done. But let me tell you some of the things your party, APC, has prevailed on in the last 8 years. The price of cooking gas increased by over 101% between last year and this year. The price of kerosene increased by 102.3%. You say your party is fighting corruption. Corruption has been at an all-time high. The Accountant General, under this administration, went away with allegedly over 190 billion. Some even say the number is higher. You say there's security. People argue that there's massive insecurity. Nigeria is still prime place on the Global Terrorism Index. Till date, we have not gotten those that were kidnapped on the Kaduna-Abuja rail line. You say the economy is good. There's over 20% inflation rate and over 50% unemployment rate cumulatively for youths in this country. What say you to all of this?
Well, I wish I can be able to remember all the questions, but if I will just take them randomly, some of them have been answered by Dr. Ruben. The economic index, he has talked about it when he was talking about inflation earlier on. But with regards to the inflation or the increase in price of fuel and cooking gas, I want you to check the record very well. This is not peculiar to Nigeria. It's a global phenomenon. So Nigeria cannot be an exception when something is happening all over the world. With regards to insecurity, first I want you to check the record and see whether Shekau is alive or dead today. This government inherited Shekau alongside other issues of security challenges. The government succeeded in eliminating Shekau, which PDP government could not do. It has succeeded in liberating the entire northeast region, which was formerly virtually under the hands of Boko Haram. Today, the situation is different. Time was when for you to travel between Abuja and Kano, you probably will spend between 10 to 15 hours. Why? Because there are roadblocks mounted almost every 10 kilometers. Today, the situation is different. Time was when before you enter mosque, church, market, supermarket, or wherever, you have to be frisked to check, to confirm that you are not carrying any ammunition or any bombs or explosives that could explode inside where you are. Today, the situation is different. People are moving freely. Since 2015, there has not been any explosion of bomb in Abuja, and likewise all over the country. Yes, you said the government has not succeeded in getting the release of the kidnapped passengers on the train. Had the government of PDP succeeded in getting the Chibok girls that were taken under its control? No, it is this government that is liberating and succeeding in getting them, even if piecemeal. The truth of the matter is that security has gotten a boost Security has gotten a very, very big boost, and this government is doing very well. Yes, you talk about the case of the Accountant General, but I'm happy I heard you say suspected or allegedly. When the case is under trial, if someone is accused of doing something and the case is before a court, let us not be judgmental. Let us wait until the case is decided upon, and if the person is guilty, then we'll place the blame or kudos on who has prosecuted him. At least in this government, people are accused and they are charged. Time was when people are accused, they are held, they are even awarded national awards for stealing. It is not happening anymore in Nigeria under President Muhammadu Buhari or under the ruling of the All Progressive Congress. I think we should appreciate it. But if you still want to ask questions, there is always this saying in Yoruba that if you point an accusing finger at someone, please check 3 or 4 of your fingers in what direction they are pointing.
Mr. Ibrahim, we had Mr. Bayo Nonoga on this program, and he was saying that, the Tinubu campaign, Shetima campaign will be run on 2, legs. Tinubu's record in Lagos and also President Muhammadu Buhari's achievements in the last 8 years. Do you really think that those are 2 very strong grounds on which, your campaign can engage Nigerians?
I certainly believe in that and more. Tinubu had done very well for Lagos. Tinubu is doing very well for the APC, and I believe we should applaud his achievement and give him an additional chance to replicate what he has done in Lagos for the wider benefit of Nigerians. And Buhari has done very well for Nigeria. He's doing very well for Nigeria. At the end of his tenure, Nigeria will hail him. Nigerians will say, yes, we have had a leader who had the heart of the country in his heart. Yes, I believe on the performance of these people, Nigerians can go to sleep that, yes, truly, we are going to be led to El Dorado.
With inflation at over 20%, with everything going through the roof, with the crisis of Japaism that young Nigerians are facing, and with people saying that what Tinubu has done basically in Lagos is to impose a regime of fascism since 1999 on Lagos State. You really believe what you are saying?
I'm sure if you and I are to have this discussion in isolation, to peruse and analyze the performance of Tinubu in Lagos. I was in Lagos when Tinubu was the governor of Lagos State. I was a correspondent in Lagos. And believe you me, what he had done made me proud of democracy. For one, people were able to see the dividends of democracy. People are able to see the taxpayers' money in action. People were able to see that, yes, true leaders, representatives of people, can bring happiness and joy to them. And if you give me the chance, when I was in Lagos and Tinubu was the governor of Lagos, I came from Kano, I'm from Kano. But believe you me, I was more at peace in Lagos than I was in my home state. Why? Because I have seen here people's money, people's taxes being utilized properly to their benefit. And if you give such a person a chance to do it for the whole of the country, why not? By tomorrow, Nigeria may compete with all advanced economies, not just in Africa, but in the world. So truly, I believe if you and I are to go aside and talk off the camera, we assess and compare not, you will agree with me that, yes, Tinubu is a performer. He is indeed a performer.
Okay, still talking about your records, and let me give you some facts. The Attorney General, the Accountant General of the Federation actually has said he did that by seeking plea bargain. So he wants to plead guilty, so he gets soft landed through plea bargain. So that's a fact on the ground for you as regards the Accountant General. Secondly, you have not made mention of the economic indices. Thirdly, the reason for the gas issue and the gas scarcity is because this administration and other administration, this administration especially, had not invested in availability of cooking gas for public, and that's why the price skyrocketed. I'd like to also ask you, part of the dividend of democracy, is it the rate of naira to the dollar that has grown over 150% in this administration? In 2015, we know the price, now it's 710. In 2015, it was 218. Now it's 710. Are those part of the things you're going to campaign on?
Okay, if we go back to the issue of the Accountant General, the suspended Accountant General, you said he has agreed to a plea bargain. I don't know if you are speaking with authority. I don't want to talk based on hearsay.
You can verify the facts. They are all in the papers. Every national daily carried it when it asked for a plea bargain. Yeah, every national dailies. You can check it up.
Well, I am a journalist, but sometimes I'm hesitant or reluctant to work with what the papers say, because at times this information, once it's misunderstood by the first person, it becomes replicated and syndicated and everyone works on it that way. But leave it that way. If indeed the Accountant General, former Accountant General, admitted that he has erred, admitted that he had done what he had done and he wants a plea bargain, isn't that a plus for this government to have taken him to court and charge him and prosecute him? Will that have been done under PDP? They will not even prosecute him if he was found guilty, even if he admits that he has done it. They will sweep it under the carpet, and the legal language like nolli prosecute or whatever they say will come in. And they will set him free and award him with additional positions. But the fact that he's being prosecuted by a government that is fighting corruption in itself shows sign of seriousness. So let us wait for the outcome of that. With regards to inflation, you see, sometimes I want people to talk about the purchasing power or the value of what the money in question will get for you. I used to work in London. I worked for the BBC before I came back home. And I know what the cost of living is in England and what it is in Nigeria. People that are talking about inflation and purchasing power are not making comparison with the quality of life in Nigeria vis-a-vis what obtains in those places where the exchange rate or the purchasing power of the money in question is lower than what obtains here. Whatever you say about inflation and what have you, the cost of food in Nigeria is relatively better than what it is abroad. And I beat my chest. I tell anybody to come and let's make comparison. What 1,000 naira will buy you for food, 1,000 naira equivalent cannot get you same food in England. And yet, we simply sit down in the comfort of air conditioning, in the comfort of the luxury of our rooms and offices, and we say, things are bad here, things are there. We don't check what is being done. We only work with index or data that is presented on paper. But in reality, what is happening is not the same. The standard of living in Nigeria is still relatively better and safer than in those countries we are caught in. Please, and I want you to check.
Okay. I could do a follow-up on that, but I'll allow Dr. Abati to ask you before I come back to a follow-up. I'll follow up on purchasing power parity and I'll tell you all about that, but after Dr. Abati's question. Okay,
Yusuf Ibrahim, please don't beat your chest. We just had a national peace accord yesterday. We don't want any form of violence, no matter how mild. Okay?
No, it's my own chest. I'm not beating your own chest. It's my own chest.
We don't also want you to be beating your chest. Let's all be very calm about this entire process.
Thank you.
But there's a question I've been asking in the last 2 days.
Thank you for that consideration.
Yes, there's a question I've been asking in the last 2 days about the polls, which have become more or less a major referent in this process. All the polls that we have seen, whether it is ANAP, NY, or ICIR, or Bloomberg News, all focusing on this 2023 electoral process. There's no poll, none, out of the 3 that has given any advantage to your candidate, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. What's your reaction to that? We have had people on this program who have said, don't trust those polls. They are just paid for and all that. But suppose there is some value to them. Why is it that your candidate has not been given any advantage? And yet you are here beating your chest and saying you continue to beat your chest.
Well, I'm very happy, Doctor. You really answered that question for me before the program started. I was watching and listening to you talking about Nigeria as a country that does not recognize the integrity of data. So if I go by a submission of our character of not relying or not having credible data, I will tell you that all the data that are presented by the sources you mentioned can also fall under that failure of integrity. The reason why they did not mention our own candidate, who is the most preferred, is simply because of that problem of integrity of data, non-reliability, non-credibility. Is the people who are the people who are actually carrying out the survey? Who are the people that are used for the survey? How credible are they? And it may interest you to know that a simple research I did shows that most of the people that participate in such survey are not the ones that vote. Most of those people that are on social media predicting and computing and analyzing and giving pass mark and failure to this and that, they fall under what yesterday Abdul Salam Abubakar described as the fake news promoters. Honestly, the integrity of data is the issue that should be looked into. If the data has credibility, if really the data is something that can be relied upon, there is no way you can put Tinubu on the low level of the ladder and place other mediocres high. No way. Okay. But leave that for the final election. It will be decided.
Okay, two quick things. On the plea bargain, the move was made known to the court by the counsel of the EFCC, Mr. Rotimi Jacob-San. That's the move on the plea bargain by the Accountant General. Secondly, you said purchasing power parity. There's something called the Jollof Rice Index in Nigeria. How much is cost of food in the market, pretty much, things to help you make jollof rice. It keeps rising every quarter over 8.3%. Just like your Big Mac index that the Economist magazine used for the price of burger all over the world, the price of a bag of rice in 2015 was less than 10,000. The price now is less than 30,000, 25 or 26,000 naira. So you can see in terms of even purchasing power parity, it has dropped because Nigerians now are now using more naira to chase products that they could buy easily formerly before now. So that's just the point. If you want to react to it, a minute, because we need to wrap this up now, our producers say.
Okay, when you use rice in getting your choice or preference for jollof rice, you have to look at people's health and choice. If people are diabetic, rice is not a preferred choice. It's not a preferred meal. So you have to look at the choice of the people alongside their consciousness for eating and decide on what is the commodity that is the most preferred. Then you do your analysis on that before you arrive at whether or not there is inflation. But what I'm saying in a nutshell is that food prices in Nigeria are relatively better than what they are abroad.
Well, thank you very much, Yusuf Ibrahim, for joining us. Good to see you from BBC to politics. Very interesting. Thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning.